I think a good thing when folks start with a smaller property and make all the mistakes with the smaller property, because I feel like to a certain extent mistakes are inevitable. So it's kind of better to learn on something where the stakes are not as high. Although I'm sure it stung when the deal didn't go as you expected.
Yeah.
So after that deal, you moved on to another. Was it another smaller deal again?
Yeah, we bought a property in the Grove. That was it was a two-way radio repair shop. As you can imagine, those were going out of favor by then. And former gas station, we bought it. We didn't understand the environmental issues. Over the course of 7 years, kind of got educated in that entire process. I wouldn't call that a success. And then that led to really our entrance into self-storage, because one of the guys that we partnered with, or that I partnered with, he owned some buildings on Washington Avenue. And I remember it was 2007. He said, somebody called me about doing storage in one of our buildings. And I was the type that if I heard something and someone, didn't want to take the ball and run with it, I said, well, I'll run with it. Let me talk to him and meet him. And so I met a guy, and we talked all about storage for days and days. And I thought, this is really an interesting asset class. Like I thought this could be something that would work. And I think the loft district, nobody has closets, and this is perfect, And so that was 2008 that we bought a building just north of Washington Avenue, and we thought, well, this will be a home run. We're right by all these lofts, and all we got to do is put in these 5 by 10 and 10 by 10 metal boxes, and we'll fill up in 30 days, and the rest will be history. That's the exact opposite of what happened. We bought it. And sometimes if I talk to lenders about projects that we're doing now, and they say, well, how have you learned anything about storage? I say, well, I've made every mistake possible. And so now that you've made all the mistakes, like, the rest is all upside. And it's really from that one facility. I mean, all of the little nuances that make a storage property successful, as far as unit mix and loading zones and well lit and secure and safe and well located. This one got them all wrong. And so
what were some of those mistakes? Because from what you said, it seems like it was well located, with it being close to the lofts on Washington Avenue.
It was close, but it was 2 blocks north. And as we all know in St. Louis, unfortunately, as you move north, you start to move to areas of town that people who live in the loft district don't feel comfortable going. So you have to understand there's barriers. Sometimes it's a highway, sometimes it's a river. You may say, well, I'm just across the river from that big population center. Well, people don't like to cross rivers to do business. They want to do it on their side of the river. So you have to really understand those little sub-market nuances, because not everything's a 1 mile or a 3 mile circle, right? Sometimes it's it's an oblong shape that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I find with folks that are not from the St. Louis region, that type of nuance keeps them either from investing in the St. Louis region or getting into deals that perhaps a local wouldn't get into, at least in the apartment world. I'm not sure if it's like that in the self-storage world or some of the other real estate classes that you're involved in. But I've seen that definitely in the apartment space, especially when it comes to apartment product in North County, for example, where you can look at the 3 mile radius and say, hey, there's some large employers that are not far from here, but it doesn't tell you the full picture.
Yeah, no, that's definitely, that's why, there's a lot of people that look at real estate via Google Earth and through a spreadsheet, and that doesn't work. You have to get to the site, you have to drive around, you have to see what direction people go to work and what they come back to work. Do they live around there? What are the schools like around there? To really understand a trade area, you really have to see where the local traffic goes versus where the transient traffic grows, and understanding those nuances is really important.